E aí, galera, vamos estar gravando esse conteúdo aqui para vocês, React aqui. O cara trocou o 16 Pro Max dele simplesmente por um iPhone 16 Pro. Vamos ver o que ele achou. O vídeo está em inglês, mas tem legenda, então tá tudo tranquilo.
I switched from the iPhone 16 Pro Max to the Pro. And there's a lot of things you can say for and against that phone, but I have a lot to say about what that switch was actually like. So why did I do it? Why are so many other people doing it? And is it worth the change for you? I understand that this is a bit of a niche video. Most people aren't buying the iPhone 16 Pro Max and then returning it and then buying the 16 Pro.
Tá muito grande, né? 6.9.
And while I'm focusing on that exact switch, this video also applies if you've had any other kind of Pro Max phone and you're considering the smaller screen of that 16 Pro when you upgrade. Or you have any other phone like the iPhone 13 mini, and now you're looking at the smallest Pro phone that you can get, and so you're upgrading. But let's start with my experience with the iPhone 16 Pro Max. So here it is, the iPhone 16 Pro Max in all of its glory. A larger than ever 6.9-inch display, nearly 7 inches at
Eu tenho particularmente a mão gigantesca. Eu tenho 1,92, então o 16 Pro Max para mim com aquela bateria nova gigantesca, acho que vai valer mais que o 16 Pro, apesar que o 16 Pro tá bonitinho, cara.
which point is wild. I think my first tablet ever, the BlackBerry Playbook, was actually a 7-inch tablet, so it's wild to see us approaching that size on a phone. The bezels, of course, are thinner, and it really is noticeable this year. It goes really bright, and the new and improved titanium colors are brighter than ever before. All of this packaged into a phone that's just 227 grams. If you're moving from the iPhone 15 Pro Max to the iPhone 16 Pro Max, this feels pretty much like last year's phone. I don't think anybody's surprised by that. It's relatively the same size phone, just with narrower bezels. It's really only noticeable when you pick it up and then accidentally open the camera with that new camera control button on the side. The button can press to launch the camera and then light press to bring up all of your camera
Eu não gostei desse botão de câmera, achei uma merda. Achei que a Apple cagou nisso, pra mim deveria remover.
controls. You can
Ninguém gostou disso.
swipe along the buttons to zoom or control any of the camera's features, and then press harder to actually take a photo. Overall, once you get used to this can be handy, but so far I'm accidentally pressing it more than I'm meaning to actually use it. So I used this phone for a few weeks, and I very quickly realized this is the same phone. Sure, it's a little faster, a little brighter, but all around it's just a very big iPhone. It's
Realmente, não tem mudança significativa do 15 pro 16 Pro Max. Não tem por que fazer a troca. Não tem.
difficult to reach the top of the phone.
Ah, mas agora filma 4K 120 FPS. Mano, ninguém usa isso. Ninguém vai postar um vídeo no YouTube a 120 FPS. Isso aqui não é vídeo de corrida, é um vídeo filmando você mesmo. Normalmente as pessoas gravam a 24 FPS ou 30 para que pegue mais detalhes e desfoque o fundo automaticamente.
And you have to awkwardly adjust your grip. It's really only comfortable to use with both hands. And other than that, you're not actually leveraging that extra space.
Se cair no dente, se estiver na cama assim, ó, cair no dente quebra, tá? Já vi gente quebrando o dente. Eu tenho um 14 Pro Max, é mais pesado que esse, então
Everything is just slightly scaled up, amounting to maybe one more line of text in some cases. And maybe it's the fact that I've spent so much time on the iPhone 13 mini, but it's very clear that the larger screen
13
doesn't do
mini é
anything
brabo,
different.
lindo.
So what about the iPhone 16 Pro? So this is the iPhone 16 Pro, and at first glance you might think it's the same. And for the first time, you'd actually be right. Apple decided for the first time to put the same tech into both the Pro and the Pro Max phones.
Isso é bom.
So where you'd usually pack in a much better camera on the Pro Max or other Pro features, you get the same cameras, you get the same camera control
Legal.
feature, the same RAM, the same screen size, just in a more manageable 6.3-inch size. You know, the interesting thing about this change for me is that we used to look at the iPhone 16 Pro Max, the biggest iPhone, the best of the best iPhone that you can buy, as the top tier of what an iPhone could be. But now we're packing in that same tech into a smaller form factor down to 6.3 inches. And what I realized almost immediately is that if we're packing in the best tech into a shrunken down, smaller, more portable iPhone, then isn't that now arguably the best iPhone that you can buy? Now you get a phone where you can actually reach the edges. You get 48 megapixel cameras and a 12 megapixel telephoto camera. You get those thinner bezels and that camera control. you can actually feel the difference of 1 ounce lighter. You're saving money around $200, although in this case, the Pro offers 128 gigs starting gigabytes and the Pro Max only offers 256 starting. So if you're comparing both of those at that storage level, it's really just $100 difference. I've spent a lot of time using both of these phones, both individually and then side by side while I had them both. And the really interesting point here is that if the Pro Max leveraged that screen size better, there would be a large selling point for it. And in my testing, that's just not the case. I found that in a lot of cases, you're getting 1, maybe 2 more lines of space in Safari. In a lot of cases, you're not getting any additional space at all. You're getting a little larger video size on YouTube. Your home screen doesn't fit anything additional, just including more space between your widgets and your icons. And overall, it provides a slightly larger keyboard that's suited for two-handed typing. I actually found it really refreshing to have a phone with the same Pro features I'm using in just a smaller form factor. I like that it's lighter, I like that it's still comfortable to type on two-handed, and with the option of one-handed when I need it. I guess the only real downside is a smaller battery, but whether that actually amounts to
Bateria.
less screen time still needs to be tested, and I'll save that for a longer term review of this phone. So all of this testing told me something I sort of already knew, which is that I wanted a phone that I could use as a tool or a resource, something I could easily use with one hand, something I could respond to a text while doing other things, where I can change the music while walking my dog without requiring both hands. A phone that becomes an asset in my daily life.
Galera, o 16 Pro Max é realmente difícil para você mexer com a mão só, mesmo eu tendo a mão gigante. Então, tem esse problema sim. Ele quer um telefone mais portátil, ele vem no iPhone 13 mini, então ele não gosta de celulares grandes. Para ele, a linha Pro é muito mais confortável. E agora que vem todos os recursos do Pro Max, não faz sentido ele ir para a linha Pro Max.
But doesn't consume my life. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that this is an extremely portable one-handed phone, because I think the iPhone 13 mini was just the perfect size for everything that I'm explaining right now. But if you want the Pro features of the latest iPhone, the ProMotion 120Hz display, and you want that in the smallest iPhone that you can buy, this is the one to get. If you want another video comparing what it's like to use this phone.
Beleza. Galera, é isso. 16 Pro é top, tá um pouquinho maior, mas acho que eu ainda iria de Pro Max. Deixa o like no vídeo, comentário, qual você escolheria.